The galaxy was a vast and complex place, full of infinite wonders and dangers. Among the countless civilizations and factions, there were always stories of power struggles, ruthless betrayals, and battles for control of the stars. But none of these stories were as unbelievable as the one of 17-year-old Lyra Dane. How she was murdered by a band of alien invaders, only to return from death and rise to become the Empress of the galaxy. It all began on the peaceful planet of Helios 7, a world of lush forests, tranquil rivers, and thriving human settlements. Lyra, a girl with an insatiable curiosity about the cosmos, had always dreamed of exploring the stars. She spent her days studying the galactic archives, learning about the alien species and the different empires that spanned the universe. Little did she know, she was about to be thrust into the center of an intergalactic war. A ruthless alien faction known as the Zilthar Empire, a race of merciless conquerors with a thirst for galactic domination, invaded Helios 7 with a single, terrifying objective: to wipe out humanity on the planet and claim the planet's resources. The Zilthar were feared throughout the galaxy for their advanced technology and their ability to annihilate entire civilizations without mercy. No one, not even the most powerful empires, dared challenge them. Lyra's village was one of the first targets. The aliens descended upon Helios 7 with their brutal force, killing indiscriminately. Lyra tried to run, but her path was cut off by the Zilthar soldiers. They captured her, and in a cold, ruthless act of violence, they executed her, leaving her lifeless body on the burning ruins of her village. The galaxy mourned another lost world, another destroyed civilization. But what the Zilthar did not know was that Lyra's death was not the end. Something far more extraordinary was about to happen. 43 minutes after her death, something miraculous occurred. Deep within the ruins of Helios 7, as the stars above shimmered in the night sky, Lyra's body began to stir. The energy of the galaxy, the very forces of life and death, shifted. Her heart started to beat once more, and the air around her crackled with an otherworldly power. Lyra's body glowed with an ethereal, golden light. She felt different, more powerful than she could ever have imagined. As her eyes opened, they were no longer the eyes of an innocent 17-year-old girl. They were the eyes of someone who had seen the vastness of the cosmos and understood the intricate, hidden forces of the universe. She had been reborn, but it wasn't just a resurrection. She was something more. She was something far greater. Without warning, a voice echoed in her mind, ancient and commanding. Lyra Dane, daughter of the stars, you have been chosen. The galaxy is yours to command. The voice was not a physical sound, but a mental presence, filling her thoughts with knowledge and power. Lyra instinctively knew that she had been chosen to lead, to rise above the chaos and unite the galaxy under her banner. The golden light around her intensified, and with a single thought, she rose from the ground, her feet hovering above the earth. The Zilthar soldiers who had once killed her were now trembling in fear, unable to comprehend the phenomenon before them. Lyra turned her gaze toward the invaders. Without a word, she raised her hand, and in an instant, the entire Zilthar battalion was consumed by an invisible force, crushing their weapons and leaving them powerless. She didn't need to lift a finger. She simply willed it, and the soldiers fell to their knees before her, unable to resist. "You killed me," Lyra said, her voice now carrying the weight of the universe. "But I have returned as something more than you can ever comprehend." The surviving Zilthar soldiers scrambled to escape, but Lyra's power was beyond their understanding. The galaxy had granted her unimaginable abilities, and she was now the ultimate force in the universe. News of Lyra's resurrection spread like wildfire across the galaxy. No one knew how she had returned, but they could sense the power within her. Empires trembled and alliances shifted. Lyra had become the most powerful being in existence. She traveled from planet to planet, bringing justice to those who had been wronged and uniting the fractured civilizations under her rule. The galaxy's greatest leaders, the most powerful beings, and the fiercest armies bowed before her. She was no longer just a human girl. She was the Galactic Empress, the ruler of the stars, and her will was absolute. As Lyra's empire grew, so did her understanding of the galaxy's deepest secrets. She learned of the ancient cosmic forces that had once shaped the universe, and how the Zilthar had played a role in disrupting the balance of life and death. It was no coincidence that she had been chosen. She was the key to restoring that balance, to ensuring that the galaxy would thrive under her reign. But even as she rose to power, Lyra knew there would always be those who sought to challenge her. The Zilthar, now broken and scattered, were not the only threat to her rule. But she was ready. She had returned not just as a ruler, but as a force of nature, and no one could stand against her. As the Galactic Empress, Lyra Dane ruled with wisdom and strength. Her reign brought peace to the galaxy, but it was also a warning that the forces of life and death were not to be trifled with, and those who underestimated her would learn that the universe had a way of turning the tables. Lyra's resurrection was not just a miraculous event. It was the beginning of a new era, an era where the fate of the galaxy was in the hands of one 17-year-old girl who had been murdered, only to rise again and become the most powerful ruler the universe had ever known. The galaxy would never be the same again.